our focus to the developments taking place in West Bengal, and Pranesh is joining us on the broadcast.
Right, Swati, and we are now being joined by Mr. Swapan Dasgupta. He needs no introduction, member of the BJP's National Executive, one of India's most widely read columnists. Mr. Dasgupta, thank you for your time, sir. While we speak, Mamta Banerjee, the West Bengal Chief Minister, is, doing a protest march in Kolkata. What do you have to say about the turn of events over the last 24 hours?
Well, Mamta Banerjee is perfectly within her rights to stage a protest against what she sees as the malafide intentions of the Enforcement Directorate. She is perfectly within her rights to come in the defense of IPAC and say that the IPAC officers are the Trinamool Congress officers. However, what is really offensive and galling is the fact that she chose to obstruct the ED officers in the course of their duties. That is taking the law into her own hands. If this subversion of law by a politically powerful individual is allowed to go without censure, without any form of strictures by the courts, then I think we will be opening the door for lawlessness in this country. Earlier, it was said that the rule of law does not exist in West Bengal. It's the law of the ruler. I think yesterday we saw a perfect example of that. So she is entitled within her rights to make a big political issue out of this, take to the streets. But what she did yesterday cannot be justified under any circumstance. That's not normal politics. That's absolutely beyond the level, beyond the constitution.
Now, Mr. Dasgupta, many people in the opposition are saying that, look, Mamta Banerjee was forced to take this step because people are losing their trust on central agencies. The charge is that the Modi government is misusing central agencies to have a go at their political rivals.
Well, you can, if you've got complaints against the central agencies, and I hold no brief for them, they have their own agenda, they have their own priorities, their own way of working, etc. But that's a debate which has to be taken on, at a political level, has to be taken on. It's got to be fought in parliament, it's got to be fought within the political parties, but this is not the way of doing it. Whatever objections you may have about the ED and the way of functioning. And by the way, the ED was investigating, and I'm not really, I don't know, I don't have a entirely detailed picture of what the ED was doing, but what the ED's contention that it was investigating the coal scam, which actually goes back to something, well before the elections, or even before that election, and which is under the supervision of the courts. It was investigating that, and it's curious. I find it intriguing and curious that a political consultancy should get linked to that ED. But then in West Bengal, all sorts of strange things happen, and some of the most ordinary norms, decencies, and courtesies of politics sometimes are not adhered to, and this was another one. Is that?
Now, Mr. Dasgupta, I'm sure you're aware of what Ms. Banerjee said. She said that I only took out the file or, papers that had TMC's electoral strategy. And this was the BJP's way of snatching those papers. So, I am perfectly within my right to do that. The BJP says that she's trying to hide something incriminating. In fact, you put out a post last evening and I think you used these words too, incriminating documents taken away by the chief.
Purportedly incriminating. I cannot say that because I've not seen those documents. But I think if you really look, at the visuals which were available, we saw the voluminous number of files which were put into the dicky of the boot of the SUV, which she had in her entourage. You'd notice that this goes well beyond having a list of how many booth representatives or how many potential prospective candidates there are. I think it goes far beyond that. And the close-up pictures which suggest that these were these were files relating to 2022. But I'm not going into that. That's for the ED.
Okay.
Mamata Banerjee could well have gone to court and said, look, papers of a political nature which have nothing to do with all these coal scam, etc., have been taken. I want their full and immediate return on an urgent basis. Instead, when the hearing was scheduled for today, it was disrupted and postponed again. Now, that's the type of thing. So, in other words, Mamta Banerjee does not want any resolution, in a legal resolution of this matter. She wants to prolong this matter, so that take to the streets, perhaps gain...
Mr. Dasgupta, let me ask you this. 8 TMC MPs were protesting in the national capital today, and they were forcibly evicted by the Delhi police. The members of parliament, they are saying that this is not, right action. The police did not allow us to protest. We were protesting peacefully. So they are suggesting that there is an attempt to, silence dissent.
Well, I don't think that itself amounts to it. I think it's sad. All of these people who were removed are my personal friends and things like that. I have a lot of time for them. They're honourable members of parliament. So perhaps they should have been given a corner in which to have their placards and go to Jantar Mantar and protest. And I think that is a democratic right of theirs to do that. Whether they violated a particular provision of the law which operates around Parliament Street police station or something, I don't know. But anyway, protesting is not illegal in India. And the right of the Trinamool MPs to protest must be upheld. But I'm talking about the action. What Mamta Banerjee did. It's not what these people did or whether Mahua was dragged on and she made some rather colorful speeches in Bangla when she was taken on. That's not the issue. But I think Mamata Banerjee is trying to make illegality, the jungle Raj, muscle power, into the new normal of West Bengal. That, I think, is the most important. That is why this particular incident should not be taken casually. It needs to be looked at very closely by every stakeholder in the country and say, look, if this is going to be the future of the Constitution, if the Constitution and the rule of law can be violated...
Now, Mr. Dasgupta, let me finally ask you this. Because you're talking about the Constitution, the people, and people from opposition who say Jai Samvidhan, that they are here to uphold the Constitution. Are you surprised by their silence, lack of outrage, or perhaps, a tacit support to what Mamata Banerjee is accused of doing?
Well, I'm not surprised at all, because in India, when you have a slogan like Jai Samvidhan, it obviously means selective indignation. There is a constitution which exists for good or for worse in this country, and I think one of the basic rules of the game is that all political parties adhere to it. That's the basic ground level on which, the ground rules on which we operate. And if that rule of law is violated like that, I think ultimately opposition party, government parties, all of them have a right to be absolutely scandalized by it. And I think that the silence of the opposition tells you that at least they're not supporting Mamata Banerjee.
Okay, my final question to you, Mr. Dasgupta. Mamata Banerjee has said that this is a malicious operation by the political masters at the center.
Yeah, this was a claim made by Lalu Yadav during the time of the forest. And this is something which has been, elsewhere. It's part of the drill. It's part of the rhetoric of politics for everyone to say that. Now, I think what she could have gone, as I said, she could have gone to the courts the very same day, demanded an urgent hearing saying my party documents are being taken away, let me take it. All that would be fair enough. That is part of your rights as a citizen. That is part of democracy. But what she did was not part of democracy. That's the point which I think it's very important to...
Strong words there by Mr. Dasgupta. Thank you, sir, for speaking to Times Now. Let's see how this the political tussle the fight between Mamata Banerjee and elected Chief Minister versus central agency unfolds in the next few hours and perhaps in the days to come. Thank you. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay with Times Now.